Imagine a structure so massive it can be seen from space, holding back a colossal amount of water. We're talking about the Three Gorges Dam, the largest hydroelectric power station on the planet. For years, it stood as a monument to modern engineering, a symbol of human ambition. But what if the unthinkable happened? What if this giant collapsed? This isn't just a local disaster we're talking about. Collapse of the Three Gorges Dam would trigger a global catastrophe of epic proportions. Stick with us as we explore the terrifying chain of events that would unfold if the world's most powerful dam were to break. First, let's understand the sheer scale of what we're dealing with. The Three Gorges Dam holds back a reservoir containing nearly 40 cubic kilometers of water. That's equivalent to over 15 million Olympic-sized swimming pools. If this dam were to fail, an unimaginable wall of water, potentially hundreds of feet high, would be unleashed. It would travel at incredible speeds, wiping out everything in its path. The initial devastation would be almost instantaneous. Cities and towns downstream, including major population centers like Yichang and Jinzhou, would be submerged in minutes. Millions of lives would be at immediate risk, with little to no time for evacuation. The force of the water would be so immense, it would obliterate buildings, bridges, and infrastructure, turning entire cities into underwater graveyards. The immediate death toll would be catastrophic, reaching into the millions. The floodwaters wouldn't stop there. It would continue to surge down the Yangtze River, Asia's longest river, and a vital artery for China. The wave of destruction would reach major economic hubs like Wuhan and Nanjing. Picture the chaos. These sprawling metropolises, home to tens of millions of people, suddenly engulfed by a powerful torrent. The economic heart of China would be paralyzed. Factories would be destroyed, ports would be rendered inoperable, and transportation networks would be completely severed. The damage would be measured in trillions of dollars, setting the country's development back by decades. The human cost would extend far beyond the initial flood zone. Survivors would face a humanitarian crisis of unprecedented scale. No food, no clean water, no shelter. Disease would spread like wildfire through the contaminated floodwaters, leading to outbreaks of cholera and typhoid. It would be a nightmare scenario, a struggle for survival amidst the ruins of civilization. But the impact wouldn't be contained within China's borders. The Yangtze River Basin is the breadbasket of China, producing a huge portion of the country's rice, wheat, and cotton. The flood would completely destroy agricultural land, wiping out harvests and contaminating the soil for years to come. This would lead to a severe food crisis not just in China, but globally. China is a major importer and exporter of food. A sudden disruption of this scale would send shockwaves through the global food supply chain. Prices for staple foods would skyrocket around the world, leading to food shortages and social unrest in vulnerable countries that depend on these imports. The world would suddenly face a global famine, triggered by a single event thousands of miles away. The economic fallout would be equally devastating on a global scale. China is the world's second largest economy and is deeply integrated into the global financial system. The collapse of the Three Gorges Dam would trigger a massive economic crash. The destruction of its industrial heartland would halt production of countless goods, from electronics to textiles, that the world relies on. This is the workshop of the world suddenly going offline. Supply chains would break down completely. Companies worldwide that depend on Chinese manufacturing would grind to a halt. Think about the phone in your pocket, the computer you use, the clothes you wear. Many of these products have components made in the affected regions. A global recession, far worse than anything we've ever seen, would be almost inevitable. Stock markets would plummet, and the intricate web of global trade would unravel. And then, there are the environmental consequences. The Three Gorges Reservoir traps enormous amounts of sediment and industrial pollution. A dam break would release a toxic sludge into the river and eventually into the East China Sea. This would cause an ecological disaster of unimaginable proportions. Marine ecosystems would be poisoned, devastating fishing industries not only in China, but also in neighboring countries like Japan and South Korea. The sudden release of that much fresh water would also alter the salinity of the ocean, affecting marine life and ocean currents, which in turn could have unpredictable effects on global weather patterns. The delicate environmental balance of the entire region would be shattered, with consequences that could last for generations. The cleanup effort would be monumental, and some ecosystems might never recover. The geopolitical ramifications would be immense. Disaster of this magnitude would destabilize the entire region. The Chinese government would be consumed with managing the crisis, potentially leading to a power vacuum or internal conflict. Neighboring countries would be forced to deal with a massive refugee crisis as millions of displaced people seek safety. Tensions could rise as nations scramble for scarce resources like food and clean water. Global alliances would be tested. Who would step in to help? How would the world respond to a superpower in such a vulnerable state? The event could redraw the political map of Asia and shift the global balance of power in ways we couldn't even begin to predict. It could lead to new conflicts, or hopefully, new forms of international cooperation. Now, it's important to state that authorities maintain the dam is incredibly well built and designed to withstand even the most extreme events, from super typhoons to major earthquakes. The scenario we've just walked through is a hypothetical worst case, but it serves as a powerful reminder of the immense power we wield over nature and the catastrophic responsibility that comes with it. The story of the Three Gorges Dam is a story of ambition, power, and potential peril. While the chances of a collapse are extremely low, understanding the potential consequences forces us to confront the fragility of our interconnected world. It shows how a single localized disaster can spiral into a global catastrophe, affecting every single one of us, no matter where we live. This thought experiment isn't meant to cause fear, but to encourage awareness and respect for the massive forces we try to control. The stability of structures like the Three Gorges Dam is crucial for global stability. It highlights the importance of constant monitoring, maintenance, and international cooperation in managing these megaprojects. The world is more connected than ever before, and our fates are intertwined. What happens in one corner of the globe can create ripples that are felt everywhere. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into what would happen if the world's most powerful dam collapsed. If you found this exploration thought-provoking, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Stay curious.